Hi guys. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Loreweek. For once we actually have some news to talk about. Yay. I'm a little bit better. I wish I'd stopped coughing so much, but you know, what the hell can I do? Hey Rex. So the pre-ramble, right? Yes, Micromono. And that's all I'm going to say about it. The Belgian Gaming Commission has moved for criminal action against EA, Valve, and Activision Blizzard. Now, the reason this isn't a real topic, and I'm just mentioning this in my pre-ramble, is I wasn't able to find the level of detail I'm more comfortable with when talking about something like this. So, for example, I don't actually know how the justice system works in Belgium. I don't. But if that were in the States, that would be a really big deal. Because that's criminal court, not civil court. And for those of you not aware, here in the States, criminal court and civil court are leagues apart from each other, like nothing to do with each other. They have different protocols, they have different rules. They usually happen in different courts, by which I mean not physically courts, but in under completely different judges, things like that, right? So if this were happening in the States, pulling it into a criminal court is a gargantuan deal, which is why I'm kind of like... Now, it's worth noting they are recommending pulling criminal action against these three companies. There's no actual criminal action being happening. There's no legal action at all, actually, right now, near as I can tell. They're still looking at their options. Let me go and say something very unpopular. I don't think this is a good thing. I don't. I said that back when this loot boxes things really got started several months ago, because... I don't think that getting the courts involved in video gaming is a good thing. I don't. I think that if we get that kind of legislation involved, we're going to have problems. Like, not world-ending problems, but it will be a net negative scenario. So I don't think this is what I would call a generally fantastic situation. My opinion. We'll see what happens. It's worth noting again that this is still the realm of, the Belgian, specifically the Belgian Gaming Commission is recommending criminal action. They are not actually suing. They're not actually pushing this. The local constabulary is apparently looking into it, and that's all they were willing to say publicly. Who knows what will actually happen here. But, yay. So I'm not super enthusiastic about that. Exactly, Scenes. Exactly. Now, I'm all for EA getting a kick in the pants, but I think this is over the line, you know what I mean? And, yay. Like I said. So, whatever, I suppose. I guess we'll see where this goes, because, I mean, who knows, right? At this point, who freaking knows? This could go in, so many different directions. Although, yes, I did see EA's response about their things not being gambling. Anybody ever watch the show Brooklyn Nine-Nine? I'm just curious. I have not watched it. I'm aware of it. I've seen a few bits of it, but I'm not a follower of it. I suppose anybody who has watched it knows what I'm about to say. Brooklyn Nine-Nine was canceled by Fox, because Fox has a track record of canceling popular shows. And then NBC picked it up and was like, no, we got you. And what's funny is I was originally I jotted down this news bit about Fox canceling it, and I was planning to talk about how funny it is how Fox continues to just have this pattern of canceling popular shows and trying to speculate on why that is. And then before the week even ended, NBC picked it up. I didn't even have 1 week of the show being canceled before another network says, no, we got you. By the way, that's also not the only show that's happening, because I was going to say, The Expanse is having that issue right now as well, and we'll see where that goes. Of course, Sci-Fi, and I say it that way, deliberately as an insult, is not a network that I have a lot of faith or respect for. Faith in or respect for. I don't know, this playlist isn't working for me. Hang on, what else we got? Let's go down here instead. Hey, Schlau. Hey, everyone, by the way. I know I haven't said hi to everyone. Some of you asked me to talk about the warranty updates that have changed. So that's kind of a weird situation. And I've decided after some thought that I don't really have much to say about it, because really the warranty situation is such that it makes perfect sense and also makes no sense at all. Because the original purpose behind those warranties, which were started back in the 90s by Nintendo predominantly, was the idea that we don't want you using third-party hardware with our console, because that was one of the contributing factors that led to the crash back in the 70s. Like, that was a very logical reason. We don't want a bunch of knockoff products that are flooding the market in order to attach to your NES that would then break it, right? Well, fast forward about 20 years. Nowadays, it is completely commonplace for pretty much every major console manufacturer to have a warranty that says, you touch this with anything that isn't associated with us, and that voids your warranty. That is true for the big three, at the very least. The Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. That warranty has... Yes, that's exactly what I meant, Darkrai. The crashing effect that led up to... I mean, E.T. wasn't even the thing that crashed the market. We all know this. It was just another of 50 things that crashed the market. Anyways, I'm going to have topic. So now the FTC has said, oh, actually, you can't do that. And so now they're all changing their warranties to make it so it's a little bit more lenient, so you don't actually destroy the... I don't like this playlist either. Hang on. Let's try this playlist. There we go. So now, your warranty isn't go away if you happen to send it to an alternate repair source or try to use some other product on it or whatever. I don't know if this is actually going to change anything. I don't even know if it's going to really have any significant effect on anything, but it's interesting that the FTC has decided that those old warranty things are actually illegal, that they can't enforce those legally. I'm not really sure what I think of that. It's just an interesting change. Twitch has decided to countersue Jackass. I'm still not naming him. I mentioned him in a previous Loreweek. He was the guy involved in the actual fraud and gambling stuff. And he can go screw himself. And he decided, so just as a brief refresher, he decided to sue Twitch 2 years after Twitch dropped him for being part of a fraudulent gambling ring. And Twitch is now countersuing him, which would not only break and destroy his suit, it would actually invalidate his suit, but it would also mean that he now owes Twitch money. They are actually suing him for damages. And I know what I just said about the courts, but I hope Twitch crushes him like a bug. I'm sorry, I really am, but I mean, if you're the kind of person who did something wrong, legally and morally wrong, got caught, and then decided to double down by trying to sue someone, you deserve what's coming to you. Yeah, ironically, theoretically now, Blue Wolf Alex, this 3DS is still under warranty. The one that's got my capture card in it. Theoretically, I'm not sure. There's probably loopholes around that, and I don't even care. But it's interesting. Anyways. Also, meanwhile, June 11th here in the States is the exact day in which... I know, right, Seemed? Is the exact day at which the net neutrality alterations go into effect. We'll see what that comes from. I just thought I'd mention the date for anybody who's been following that. For anybody who has been following that, you'll know that quite a few states, individual companies, and lobbying groups have been pushing hard in order to undo the undo on the net neutrality thing. Legally speaking, we are at the point now, because nothing has happened now, that we are basically 100% certain that that change is going to go in June 11th. Like, I would say 99.9% certain at this point. Not because we're going to lose or whatever, but because it takes forever for anything to happen. So in other words, in order to get through, like, I don't know if we're going to win this one or not. I don't know if there's going to be a successful counterpush. I don't know if there's going to be any additional legislation on it, and I don't know how long it's going to take. But as of right now, we are extremely likely to have net neutrality be removed for an unknown period of time starting June 11th, so be aware of that. I myself have actually already mentioned, and this is something I can prove because I have records and receipts, that my bills have gone up twice. Once on behalf of me personally, I have to pay a little bit more for my internet, and once on behalf of my website. The company that hosts Loreweek.com has had to up their bills because they are being charged more by Comcast. That's already happened. Now. So we'll see. I don't know how much any of you guys have been affected by any of this. I just thought I'd share. I'm reminded of that game we've been playing recently, Ken Follett's Pillars of the Earth. All right, we're going to raise taxes, and we're going to raise fees, and we're going to raise tariffs, and then we're going to raise license fees, and just increase prices across the board. Anyways. I think that's it for my pre-ramble news. I had a couple other... Oh, well... I'm not sure I have anything to talk about this, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this in the pre-ramble. So, oh yes, Depression Scrolls. Sorry, Cord, sorry. Walmart. The Walmart leak, right? I don't think it's a big deal. We just open with that. It is possible that some of the Walmart leak games are legitimate, but it almost doesn't matter if they are. Because... Well, good, Blue Wolf Alex. I don't want you. Damn it, Rex. God, that's so... I'm getting used to it. I'm still getting used to the pronunciation. Walmart leaks. So TLDR, Walmart put up some listings for a huge number of games. Like 40, looks like. Like 40 or so games. Lego DC Villain, Splinter Cell, Just Cause 4, Gears of War 5, Rage 2, Borderlands 3, Assassin's Creed Unknown, Destiny Comet, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Metroid Prime, NBA, you know, a whole bunch of games here. Tons of them. Now, here's the thing. So, first and foremost, I don't think this is a leak in the strictest sense of the word. My opinion. Let me explain what I mean by that. One of the things that... Dragon Quest 2. What the hell does that mean? One of the things that big retailers do fairly commonly, and I'm sure most of you have actually noticed Amazon doing this, for example, is they will develop internally, on the back end of their storefront, they will go ahead and set up things for... what, Sonic? On the back end of their storefront, they will have they'll set up stuff in case games come out, or for games that they predict are going to come out, basically. Oh! Right, that was you! Okay, so Sonic, I'm guessing you missed this. I'll go ahead and respond to you really quickly here. So, I mentioned this last week. Over the course of, like, the last month, there have been, like, 5 different transactions from you. Apparently. I didn't know it was you. I had no way of telling it was you. I just saw that name. And those transactions all said not applicable. Now, I can go in and manually accept those, but considering I saw so many of them in a row, I decided not to, because what I thought was likely was happening was someone was trying to donate. It didn't go through, so they tried again, and they tried again.
Of course you follow me. They all do.
And they tried again, right? So I just didn't accept any of them because I wasn't sure what was going on and I couldn't get a hold of the person, right? So that's what happened with that. Yes, I did, Cord. I can respond here if you want to, because I guess I'll respond here. We're basically not taking anybody for Board Game Week anymore, any night. So just as an FYI. Except for Rax. Rax is still welcome. Now, who just donated? A lot of retailers will set up things specifically... Thank you, Sonic Doctor. What would you like to put it towards? If you say the bank, I'm going to laugh. They set up this stuff in advance, right? So all that happened was this stuff was supposed to be just opened up on the back end, and instead they opened it up on the front end, which is the side we can see. They quickly undid that. We're good. That is, now I'm not saying this is absolutely what happened, but this is most likely what happened. Now that being said, the thing I do want to talk about with regards to this is Bethesda, because Bethesda's reaction to this has been basically perfect. Whether or not Rage 2 is actually in development or not almost doesn't matter, because what they have now done is generate hype and feedback and buzz about their game simply by the way they reacted to this. That is excellent marketing. I wanted to praise that. That is fantastic marketing. I don't know if you've seen it. Let's see if I can pull up here. Peter Hines doesn't frickin' matter. Nobody likes Peter Hines. They're not going to do it, are they? Come on. I don't want to actually link the tweet. God, I hate GameStop bot. Whatever. Point being, that's not happening for like 8 years, Dante. I could say with extremely high certainty that's not happening for years and years and years and years. I doubt they've even really started working on it. Thank you again, Sonic Doctor. I do appreciate it. Peter Hines is a jackass. Peter Hines is the guy who simultaneously got it by explaining what a proper remake is, and then insisted that no one would want a proper remake of Morrowind. I mean, it's just an Xbox game. So ignoring Peter Hines, this is a great way to recover. If they are actually working on Rage 2 and this was a legitimate leak, they have rolled with the punches. Okay, cat's out of the bag. There's nothing we can do about that. They don't want the Streisand effect to go into effect, right? So instead they're just like, okay, yep, we're cool. Let's make it happen. Yep, Rage 2, we're totally talking about it at 83. Here's some stuff talking about. Great way to roll with it. If they aren't working on Rage 2, they have still generated buzz about Rage 2 and about Bethesda in general, basically giving them some brownie points. People will think of them a little bit more positively because of the way they react to this. That's all I wanted to say about that. Their reaction was phenomenal. I haven't heard anything about that scene, so I'll grain of salt in that one. So let's get to my actual news topics. Let's adjust this here. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, Darkrai. What's our next topic? One other thing. I'm sorry, I wanted to mention one other thing really quick. Props to Microsoft. Expo now has the ability to gift purchase pretty much across the board. And if you don't know what I mean by that, this is one of those things that isn't actually a big deal. It's just, it's a good thing. It's the kind of thing that basically every front end should have available. Like, I should be able to go in right now to my Switch and say, buy this for PAX. Bam. I can do that on Steam, for example. So there's no reason for that functionality not to exist. So this isn't so much a pat on the back as a good job finally catching up, Microsoft. It's still a good thing, don't mistake me. It's just, I wanted to comment on that really quick. What's our timestamp? Jeez, I've been talking for 20 minutes. Let's talk about Comcast. How many of you have been following Comcast since the 90s? I know they weren't the same back then, but hear me out. No, I don't own any Xbox. I have no reason to. The one and only thing I have ever needed an Xbox for was a 360. I had to borrow a friend's for a rumination on Lost Odyssey. That's it. Yes, I'm a Comcast groupie. No, Comcast is the enemy. I'm just going to say that as 100% bluntly as I can. Comcast is the enemy. This is too good of music for this. And Comcast needs to be treated as such. So I have been following them very carefully. They have been involved in my personal life because I have to use Comcast in about half the places I live in the United States. And I have had to deal with Comcast a lot in my professional life. Back when I worked as a network engineer, I had to deal with them a lot, along with AT&T and Time Warner and all the others. So I've kind of, by yes, yeah, actually, you know what? I think I have the Shinra theme on here. Give me a second. That's a different playlist. Hang on. That's... no, hang on. 1 second. All the Lord of Loreweek. I still haven't come up with a real good way to put that. This isn't Comcast. This isn't Comcast. They don't deserve it. I gotta find the Shinra one. There we go. This is Comcast. Dr. Willie. No, not Dr. Willie. How many... Okay. So originally I was going to do a massive economic discussion here. I have decided not to. What is actually happening is so ludicrously complicated and stupid that I've decided it's not something that most of you are probably going to be interested in. So instead I'm just going to talk about some of the more things that actually affect us. Because Comcast is going for an all-cash buy-in attempt to try and procure a massive amount of Fox stock in order to try and take a controlling interest in Sky Sports. That's the baseline right there. I was going to do a massive discussion about what an all-cash buy-in is and how that affects your equity table and how the equity table then changes the amount of dividends that are pushed out, which can affect the shareholder value, which then affects shareholder opinion and voting stock, which then changes the company's direction. But it's a huge mess. It's actually way more complicated than it has any right to be. Because an all-cash buy-in, as weird as this may sound, does not necessarily involve cash. But what an all-cash buy-in does mean... Okay, I'll give you a little bit of a thing. An all-cash buy-in usually refers to a real estate deal. Like 44.3, I want to say. I looked this up just this morning. 44-something% of all real estate deals here in the United States are all-cash deals. What that means is they don't go through any financing. There's no additional loan involved. There's no additional trading of equity, value, stock, etc. It is instead just, here's $240,000 in a check or in a banknote or whatever, bam, and the real estate is now mine. Make sense? Now, that's part of the reason that number is so high is because a lot of people who are buying houses will do that. But that is also a very common thing when it comes to real estate in general, not just houses, but as in buying land, buying office buildings, buying shopping outlets, all that kind of a stuff. I could name specific examples, but I don't think you care. Point being, those deals usually involve, the reason they are called all cash is because the only thing that is traded in one direction is dollar signs. It doesn't literally mean taking $1 and giving it to the person. It means the only thing that you're using to barter this trade is something that is cash. Make sense? Now, there are two specific values of an all-cash buy-in. The first is obvious, and I don't even think I need to tell you why it's obvious. People in chat have already said it. You're chopping out the middleman, and the deal is concluded. Here's this, give me this. It's a one-to-one transaction. Most other transactions, especially at a large scale, at a corporate scale, there's a reason company mergers and company acquisitions take in the year range, and sometimes years range. Because they have to go through this has to go to this bank, this goes over to them, and this goes over to them. These two companies then have to do this deal with these companies, getting loans to be able to pay this part off so they can then sell this over to these guys. Then it goes up here, and so forth and so on. And none of this was made up. I was kind of keeping track there in my head. This is how these things happen, because when you have massive amounts of money in the billions range, you don't just write a check for $6 billion. That doesn't happen. However, an all-cash buy-in can happen at the corporate level. It is extremely rare, and for obvious reasons. What Comcast has had to do is they have had to take out multiple loans on what I would usually refer to as a national level. They have gone to some of the largest banking firms in the world, by the way. This isn't just a country thing, in order to try and secure multi-hundred-million-dollar loans in order to have the upfront equity to be able to to be able to legally accomplish this kind of all-cash buy-in. What this will actually mean for them, as far as specifics, is instead of doing what Disney is planning to do, which is a reshuffling and a refinancing option, where they will be readjusting which stock is owned by whom and where, what Comcast plans to do is to basically just walk in and say, I want 40% of this stock, and just drop the money on their faces. So you can see why this is has some oomph behind it, even though Disney has already made the deal with Fox, even though Disney is already good to go and is already in the process of doing all the crap that they have to do in order to get this transaction happen. Comcast still has the ability, through an all-cash buy-in, to just walk in and go plam. You with me so far? Because I'm not even scratching the surface on this crap. This is a mess. Yeah, tell me about it, Seemed. So, there are a couple of provisos I want to mention on here. First of all, Comcast has flat out stated they will not go forward with this purchase if the June... I wrote down the date. Give me a second. Actually, I don't have the date. I guess I don't have a date. In June, the courts here in the States are going to legally rule on the AT&T acquisition of Time Warner. Now, I've reported on that too. That is actually a really big deal because there is an antitrust suit kind of active right now against AT&T for their attempted acquisition of Time Warner. For those who don't remember me reporting on it before, in short, if AT&T manages to properly acquire Time Warner, AT&T is going to gain a majority share of ISP market here in the United States. They will inch just ahead of Comcast if they do that. I don't really have anything else to add to that at the moment. Well, we'll get to that, Ethel. We'll get to that, because the thing I haven't mentioned yet is why they care. Why both Disney and Comcast are trying to get this part of Fox. I will cover that, don't worry. So, if the courts rule in favor of AT&T, AT&T's deal, which is basically already on the table, metaphorically speaking, will go through. AT&T will acquire Time Warner, and then Comcast will go through an attempt to acquire this chunk of Fox, and things will be bad. Now, let me start explaining the whys here. I mentioned how many of you have been following Comcast for a while. How many of you remember when Comcast tried to do a hostile takeover of Disney? Because I remember that. 2004 is when that happened. Yeah, what Hazardous mentions is true, by the way. Although that varies from company to company and specific provisos. But basically, shareholders... It's actually really simple. Any given shareholder has a vote in the say of what the company does about company policy. Companies are required, like if any of your parents or any of your grandparents have stock, you've probably seen them get letters in the mail from companies saying, we need you to weigh in on this decision. Even if you own 3 shares, they are legally required to ask you about that because your 3 shares are 3 votes. 3 of a few million, but 3 nevertheless. If a sufficient amount of stock is procured, and we're talking a fairly sufficient amount, then simple majority rules will mean that someone who may only control 7% of the stock of a company owns more stock than anyone else does, and therefore has what is referred to as a controlling interest. You with me? So, yeah, like I said, Comcast attempted to make a hostile takeover of Disney. Now, that did fail, thank God. But I mentioned that because I want it to be in your minds how much of a nightmare dinosaur that Comcast really is. They had a shot at that. Like, it was actually within the realm of possibility that Comcast could have eaten up Disney. And I remind you, while that was one of the downswings in Disney's financial history, they were still doing fine. They just weren't doing as well as they were during the juggernaut of the 90s, or now, when they're also doing very well. And yet they were still capable of just... I mention that because that's how much financial and political power this company has. And Comcast is basically a domestic-only company. Now, what I mean by that very quickly is that Comcast has almost nothing overseas. And, well, thank God for that, because it's Comcast. And that's why Comcast wants Fox. Fox actually has a fairly large amount of interest overseas. And this brings us all the way back to Sky. Because Sky is, for those of you not aware, Sky is, actually I'm not sure if Sky is the top end of the network or not, but most people I hear refer to it as Sky. Sky Sports, Sky News, Sky Production. It's a British and European in general reporting / networking, whatever. It's a pretty big one, too. Sky is all over the place. I myself actually watch Sky Sports on a semi-regular basis because that's how I watch Formula One, just to name a personal interest in that. Because Brundle's awesome. Bonus points if anybody knows it. Yeah, exactly. Sky is up there with the BBC. Sky's huge. And whoever succeeds in taking this deal is taking Sky. Now, I know we all make fun about Disney being this big evil corporation that's just eating up the rest of the world. But this is the reality of real life. What would you rather have? Because one of these two companies is succeeding at this. That's just happening. Who would you rather take Sky? Disney or Comcast? Keeping in mind, Disney already has some international ventures. Disney is stretched out into the internationality. They don't have a lot of international television. They don't have a lot of international presence as far as media that isn't movies. This is actually, I've reported on this already, this is one of the reasons why Disney is trying to do this. They want a bigger footprint on the international televised media. That makes sense to me. Comcast wants the same thing. The difference is this will be the foot in the door for Comcast for other countries. Disney already has the foot in the door for other countries. You following the line of logic here? This isn't just about a horribly evil company getting a hold of something. This is about keeping a horribly evil company contained. I mean, I hate to quote Diablo 2 here, but we kind of need to keep Comcast bound within the tomb of Russia or whatever, rather than letting it out to the rest of the world. It's already a juggernaut. Yeah, we need to contain the infection. God. Yay. Yes, the Tomb of Russia. That's actually what I said. It's also worth noting, and this is just another anecdote, really. Disney has been putting a lot of weight into... How do I phrase this? Disney has been presuming that a lot of the international weight of their new streaming service, the Disney Netflix they want to start, is going to be on the weight of the fact that they're going to have access to international markets thanks to this purchase. It's one of they flat out stated this. This is not me making this up. This is in the official releases. If Disney loses this, I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen to the Disney streaming service. Now, I've already given my opinion on the fear. I still can't do it. I'm sorry. My throat's just on this end of successful. But thank you very, very much, Emperor Valerian. Would you like to put that towards anything? Excuse me. Yeah, Hulu is also a pretty big prize. Emperor, Valkyrie profile. 15 profile. I've already given my opinion on the Disney streaming service. I personally do think that they shouldn't try to start their own streaming service, just my opinion. But I would still rather see them succeed than see Comcast streaming service, if you follow my line of reasoning here. Yay. I don't have much else to add to this. So let's go to dumb news. No, actually, this is a little more complicated of a topic. That's why I want to talk about it. So let's go to like slightly more positive note here. Let's take a quick timestamp. How many of you guys have a Switch? Hang on, let me answer that question a little differently. Let's see here. No, no. No, don't go this way. Mario. God damn it, Mario. I'm actually not playing a Mario game at all. How many of you... You know what? No, I do want to talk about this, because this is a somewhat complicated topic. I want to make this point very clear. I want to explain why I want every game on the Switch. Okay? You see this? Playing games like this is the same as playing a game on a 3DS, or a PSP, or a Vita. Right? Okay? Nothing special. If I was to... I don't physically have it, but because I don't use it, but if I was to hook this up to a TV, and if I was to just pretend with me for a moment that this is a Pro controller or whatever, and I was just to play it like this is nothing special. This means nothing. This is just another console. That's not why I like the Switch. I like the Switch because you can play it like 5 different ways. I like the Switch because of this. I'm trying to do it without making it drop. I like the Switch because I can do this. Because I can take this controller and this controller, and I can just lean this up right here, and I can just start playing. And this is really important to me. I know I know some of you don't really get this. That's why I'm trying to explain this here. And I know some of you already get this, and you're just rolling my eyes at me, so please bear with me for a second. But being able to play games like this is amazingly useful to me. Because I'm not playing games like this. Yeah, the PS4 controller is wireless, but it's still this. It is still attached. I have to play it like this. And this gets uncomfortable. This also requires me to be in certain types of positions. Like, there's only so many different ways I can sit and play like this. By contrast, I can just play this however. You guys have seen me. I've played Switch games like this. With this controller right here, and this one just kind of dangling on my leg here. I have played games with both my arms just dangling over the ground, stretching out my elbows. I have played games with both of them like this. I can do whatever the hell I want with these. This is a godsend to me. With my back issues, with my bad elbows, this is a godsend. This is amazing. I can play the Switch comfortably in basically any position. Whether I'm sitting here, or laying down, or exercising. This is the only gaming console I can play while exercising. As a consequence, the only games I've been playing, not for the show, have been Switch games. Because they're the only things I can play while I'm exercising. Because I can just have my arms on the things like this, right? And I can still play like this. And of course, because... and this is also critical, this is also detachable. So it's all 3 parts. Detachable, 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 right? My point being, this is why the Switch is so valuable to me. I don't know, Denoble, but I've beaten SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld Dig 2 since exercising, so make of it what you will. This is why this is so valuable to me. I want to make that clear. This isn't me being a Nintendo fanboy. This isn't me saying, oh my god, I love the Marios. This console is invaluable to me. And please stop trying to insist that I'm some kind of thing that I'm not. It really gets on my nerves. So, having gotten that across, to me, I want everything on the Switch. Not just for now. I want to be able to play Mega Man 2 like that 10 years from now. I'm probably just going to keep getting worse over time unless medical care starts getting a lot better, right? I want to be able to have comfort and ease of use, good words, Volcanto, years from now. I want to be able to play Final Fantasy VI on my Switch. I want to be able to play Chrono Trigger on my Switch. You follow? This is where we get into the Virtual Console thing. So for those of you not aware, they have stated in a very strangely worded message that they will not be releasing the Virtual Console on the Switch. Oh yeah, 1,000 Year Door, that'd be another big one. They have said, nope, we're not doing it. Now I'm going to stop, see if anybody has any reactions to that before I continue. No, don't worry. There's a point to be made here. Although that point is admittedly presumptive. See you around, Darkrai. And I quote, "There are a variety of ways in which classic games from Nintendo and other publishers are made available on Nintendo Switch, such as through the Nintendo Entertainment Systems, Nintendo Switch Online, Nintendo eShop, or packaged collections. Nintendo Entertainment System Switch Online will provide a new way to experience classic NES games, different from the Virtual Console thanks to enhancements such as added online play, voice chat via Switch app, and various play modes of the Switch." Okay, that was the actual announcement about the no Virtual Console. You with me? Now, when I first heard that, I was angry. Like, legitimately angry. Because of everything I just mentioned. Like, oh god, no! No, I want that on there. But then I noticed that that exact same announcement was being paired with an announcement that several games, including the only two I remember that I care about, Zelda 1 and Mario 3, will both be coming out on the Switch via the online thing. Boy. Sorry. Yeah, ditto. Not Rory. Absolutely. Yeah, Max Time knows where I'm going with this. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any of them physically with me, but how many of you are aware of the Street Fighter collection on the Switch? How many of you are aware of the Mega Man collection on the Switch? How many of you are aware of the Mega Man X collection on the Switch? You see where I'm going with this already? Now, most of these are from the same company, Capcom. But, I'm trying to find SNK, that's another one. What else? I know there's others. Those are the only three that I really care about, but I know there are other ones. I've actually already bought both the Mega Man ones. Or I should say all four of the Mega Man ones, technically. Is this it? Oh, for God's sakes. Yes, I was born in 1977. Stupid thing. Apparently Resident Evil, this is another Capcom thing, is getting a collections on the Switch. My point is, I don't think that... How do I phrase this? I know for total certainty that some companies are doing their own re-releases of older content on the Switch. I know that because I've already bought a few of them, and more of them are coming out. And I'm kind of okay with that. I'm okay with dropping $40 to get Mega Man 1 through 9, or 1 through 11, excuse me, on the Switch. That's cool. I wasn't born in 1977. I was asked to give an age verification for the Resident Evil thing. So I picked whatever number came up first. I was born in 1305. The idea of releasing those collections on the Switch, I'm with that. I hope more companies do that. I have heard rumors, and I have to have a big asterisk about this because this is still only the realm of rumors, but I've heard rumors about the idea that Nintendo is actually trying to encourage other third-party developers to do more collections, to release more of their older games in bundles on the Switch. Now, again, this is still the realm of rumor, and obviously the only group who's actually doing anything with this is Capcom at the moment, but, right? Hey, Dakota. Yeah, I've been the lore runner since the beginning of time, guys. Wouldn't I have been born in negative 1800 BC then? Or no, negative 18,000, or negative 8,000 BC. There we go. Sorry, I get my math wrong. The other thing, and this is the really big one, is they're going to start releasing these things via their online service. Now, their online service is like $20 a year. Okay. At the moment, we don't get anything... I don't remember, Dakota. We don't get anything of worth out of that, to my knowledge, other than the online story thing. Or the online... God, you guys are mixing me up here. The online thing. This is the real question, and I don't actually have an answer here, because we don't know yet. This doesn't even go live until September. But if the online thing allows you to download Mario 3 and keep it, that might be worth it at that point. If this thing lets you download Zelda 1 and keep it on the Switch, that might be worth it at that point. Hang on, they've got a list of what's available for them. Now, some of you might be like, well, they already said they'll let us keep it. They said that last year, you remember that? Because originally they announced the online thing was going to be a rental thing. You remember that? And then they said, what? No! And there was a huge backlash about that. And then Nintendo said, okay, if you are a subscriber when it's available, you get to keep it after you're a subscriber. Now, that was last year. So, this is something we need to have clarified. It is apparently $20 a month, $20 a year. Excuse me, I was right. Oh, where the hell's the list of all the stuff you get from it? No, I'm not even getting into the data backup thing. That's bullcrap. There's no excuse for that. That is just bullcrap. No defense, no argument. It's dumb. Okay, here's the list. Here is some of the games we know they'll have available for the NES. Ice Climber, Zelda 1, Balloon Fight, Soccer, Tennis, Mario Bros, Super Mario Bros, Dr. Mario, Super Mario Bros. 3, and Donkey Kong. So, a whole lot of crap. Zelda, Mario 3. And that's basically it. Yeah, whatever. I don't agree with the backup saving thing. There should be a local solution for that, period, as far as I'm concerned. Technically there is, but you have to do it. There's nothing supported by Nintendo. Anyways. We need more details. I suppose this is just me being an optimistic idiot, but I have not given up hope. I'm still looking at this like, come on, please. Let me get my older games on the Switch. Did you guys know that FF6 actually did get a Virtual Console release? I didn't know that until relatively recently. It's on the Wii. It's only on the Wii. I also want to add one final little piece of information to this, and I know Nintendo doesn't make any goddamn sense, so this isn't necessarily indicative that they can do anything. But we know that Nintendo has already developed in-house emulators that work, that they're comfortable with. We've seen this on the new 3DS, and we've seen this on the Wii U. And, yeah, they actually have the pixel-perfect thing going for them now. And, of course, we saw that on the SNES Classic, if you want to keep going with that. So, it's not like it's that hard for them to take what already exists and readjust the button maps over for the Switch. That's basically the work that's required at this point. So I am at least hopeful that they will continue to port this stuff over to the Switch, because, god damn it, the hard part has already been done. At this point, it's just getting a hold of the ROMs. And that's more of a legal problem than a functional problem. What is with the dog today? Fingers crossed. I know this sounds so stupid, but this is a big deal to me, and that's why I've been talking so much about this. This really matters to me. I really, really want Mega Man X on the Switch. And I'm getting that, so I guess I shouldn't say that. I am actually getting Mega Man X on that. No News still's the one. They're still producing games for it. Can you believe that? You know, I really want FF6 on the Switch. I really want Paper Mario 2 on the Switch. We'll see. It's also worth noting that there are less legal methods of accomplishing all of this already. Anyways, so, not that I'm doing any of those. I would rather have the legitimate stuff. I know, Seed. I don't know, Schlau. Oh yeah, by the way, just as a slight little aside here, for those of you not aware, there's a company that's a copyright troll. I don't even remember the name, and frankly, I wouldn't report it even if I knew it, who is trying to sue Nintendo and insist that Nintendo discontinue all exports and sales of the Switch in the entire country of the United States of America because they infringe on a copyright they hold for attaching controllers to a phone. Yeah, I just thought you needed to laugh there. I hate copyright trolls. I really do. I hope they die. I hope they fall off a cliff and die. Oh, excuse me, this is a patent troll, not a copyright troll. My bad. This is from Four Heroes of Light, Mandarden. Patent, copyright, what's the difference? No, I know there is a difference. If this company succeeds at this, then I am bringing my Star Destroyer and getting off this planet. You're welcome to come with me. We got tons of room. No. What is most likely... Here's what's actually... Okay, let's talk about that really briefly. Let's talk about consequences of that, because here's what's going to happen. The Switch is selling like crazy. That's why they're attempting this troll. Because they are deliberately going after Nintendo, saying, hey, we want some of your money. They're not actually interested in trying to stop the sales of the Switch. They're interested in getting a bribe. However, bribery is illegal, so they have to go through the legal method of making this happen. The legal method of making this happen is having owned a patent which might, asterisk, because all patents are debatable within a court of law, might... Oh yeah, don't worry, we got tons of Switches on the Star Destroyer. Big old lounge, lots of beanbags. They want... You know, this patent might apply to the Switch. Now, I've actually seen the patent. Personally, I don't think it does. Even from a legal perspective. But that's not for me to decide. It's for them to decide. So, if they successfully manage to hold up this lawsuit, what will happen is they will say, all right, give us money. And Nintendo will have to bribe them, because it is a bribe, even if it's not legally a bribe. Legally, it is a settlement. But it is a bribe in order to be able to keep selling the Switch. That's reality. There is no way in God's green earth that Nintendo is going to stop selling the Switch in the United States. Do you know how well that is selling here? Ideally, if I'm being completely blunt, I hope Nintendo crushes them in court. Nintendo's lawyers are really good. And not good people. I mean, they're good at what they do. We've seen this several times. And God knows we've seen Nintendo's lawyers do terrible things over the years. So it'd be nice if they did something good just for once. Except that's not true, isn't it? This isn't the first time this has happened to Nintendo. You remember the Wii? Remember when patent people went after Nintendo for the Wii? Because I do. This is actually, I think, the 5th or so time that a patent troll has gone after Nintendo for something Nintendo's released. So I have to crush them like a bug. Yeah, they did fail. They got crushed. Anyways, I do have one other little topic here. Ah, yeah, Nintendo. You think they'd learn? Well, I mean, the funny thing is, it doesn't... That's not funny. That's terrible. It doesn't cost that much to file a suit. Not really. Not really. Filing fee, maybe hiring a lawyer. You don't need to hire a lawyer initially. So what's it cost for me right now to go after Nintendo? Maybe a couple $100. That's it. Now, obviously, if I did that, I'd be screwed forever because I have no case of anything. But my point being, for someone who thinks they have any kind of a case, it is inexpensive to start the process. Now, if it actually goes to court, it becomes a lot more expensive. Like, a lot more expensive. It enters the 6-digit range. That's not a joke. I looked this up. But, you know, maybe they can bilk some money out of them. You never know. Nintendo might cow this time, right? And as Slabity points out, if they lose, okay. Well, we can't afford to pay all these debts we just racked up on this failed lawsuit. Bankruptcy. And this is why those people need to die. I guess I don't have another topic. Hey, Anthony. Yeah, for some reason the legal system takes a lot of money. I'm not sure why. I mean, actually, I know exactly why, but I don't agree with it. Marvel's done that too, Kid Viper. Back in the 80s, I want to say. 80s or 90s. It was a while ago. Hi, Sonoshi. I like that idea, Scene. Just get a Witcher whose only job is to go after copyright and patent trolls. Like, legitimate trolls. That would be great. How many of you like flashy stuff? No judgment, no anything. I'm just curious. I just realized I'm on the wrong thing to actually show this off properly. I can add this manually. No, not an FF7 reference. Not even an FF13 reference. I could if you wanted me to. I have no idea where it saved all those files. See you around, Saint. Damn it. Where the hell did it put everything? See you around, Race Cat. Why are we still on this playlist? Okay, apparently I can't show you literally what was going to happen without shutting down the stream. But I wanted to have a brief discussion about this, because this is something I think about basically all the damn time. Anybody who was present, I guess that would have been Friday, knows what I'm talking about. So, this is my setup. I've got webcam, small outline, my logo, tip jar, chat, text, background, background. That's my layout, right? For example, if I was to go down here, the layout actually gets a lot simpler. Me, background, logo, area for score, area for chat, area for game. Again, very simple. This is all by design. For those of you not aware, I've actually gone to school for graphics design and actually worked as a graphics designer for several years. I design all my own stuff, basically, is what I'm trying to say here. And this is all deliberate. This is what I usually mentally think of as professional. It is, however, rather plain, more or less by design. Because the point of looking this professional is to look like it's professional. like it's something that is quick and easy to digest, right? You know, if we've got the whole game thing here, we've got the 4x3 thing here. Again, this is... Where's my webcam? Again, even simpler with the 4x3. Game, outline, background, me, chat, right? Bam, 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 bam. Yeah, readability, exactly. And the 5x4 is basically the same thing as the 4x3. It's just fairly simple. So, I'm not very flashy. I am more or less deliberately not flashy, but I always worry... Oh yeah, here's the in-depth classic page, too. Slight addition for the story and gameplay thing. Hi. Slight addition, but, you know, then we got the NES or the SNES over there. You get it. This is my starting soon page, right? This is very simple. It's just a scrolling text with the relevant information, my logo, and whatever background I feel like putting up. I can actually put up any background there. I could just, boop, I could just switch that right there. This is the desert background, right? Very simple. Any video file. I could put any video file back there. You want to see, you know, Tucson? Give me a second. I could just do the thing that I'm failing at doing. Bam! And suddenly we have Tucson in the background, right? I could also do just about anything else if I really wanted to. I could do something really weird like this. Behold! I think you get where I'm going with this. I've set up this thing. I have templates upon templates that I've developed over the last few years of streaming to try and make it so that everything can just lock straight into place and chakunk. That's all by design. And I've been working on this and I constantly try to improve this. Now that's where we get into the flashiness thing, because I can make something flashier. I could be like, whoa, man. Okay, this isn't flashy. Again, I can't actually show you what I mean. But again, anybody who has been here Friday knows what I mean by flashy. You know, I could actually show you guys if I could shut the thing down and pull it back up. Look at how flashy this is. Super flash. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm laying down judgment. What I'm trying to say is that I am constantly trying to improve. It is literally a nonstop process, as far as I'm concerned, to try and constantly improve. It is partially as a result of a lack of self-esteem, I'll admit that, but it's also because I am, as my best friend Gary will tell you, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I will always go back and say, I could do that better. Sometimes I have to hold myself back for that, because, you know, but there's a book I wrote in high school. The most recent time I have gone through that and edited it and rewritten it was 2.5 years ago. That's 16 or so years, a little longer than that, actually, that I'm still going back and trying to rewrite it. That's just the kind of person I am. What do you think about the flashy thing? Like, I have the ability to go flashier. I do. There are ways to do that. I have the ability to have an animated webcam box. I have a way to have, like, this title thing. Like, okay, here, let me show you what I mean. If I was down here, for the game we'll be streaming later today, like this, you know, this whole thing, I could have a thing that has, like, the title of the game up there. And this animated thing. You know, animated thing. What's the Ken Burns thing? Ken Burns. Oh, you mean... No. Actually, I'm not sure. Maybe I could do that. Where's the webcam? What can I do with this? Sure, we'll do this. This should be fun. So anyways, as I was saying, I could be weirder. I can even speed it up a lot. So as I was saying, one of the things that I really need to discuss, we here at EA firmly believe. We can even do this, just make it really weird. Or how about this? There we go. Nah, it doesn't work. Let's set that back to 0. Got a mime, too. Nope. That's making me dizzy. I'm not even there. Ah! Hey guys! As you can see, I can't do voices right now. Ah! Okay, let's just... That's not working the way I want it to. There we go. And of course, we all know the best possible one. The toxic lore. Comcast, Schlau. 10 times out of 10. EA is bad, but EA isn't even in the same category as Comcast. A lot of people bash EA, and with good reason. EA is a joke compared to legitimately horrible companies. So, what Sonoshi brings up is another interesting thing here. So, let's go back up to Loreweek. This is a good place to demonstrate this. Here, let's change the background to, I don't know. Let's do something weird. Sure, we'll do that. Why not? We'll change the background to this. Or, no, that's the wrong one. I need the other one. One that's like an hour long. There we go. So anyways, as I was saying. So, one of the things that I do is I have a whole setup for subs, donations, and bits. Now, I'm actually pretty happy with those as is. I will actually give you a quick example of what I'm talking about really quick here. If you'll give me a moment, I have to pull it up manually. Yeah, I saw that, the count. So, for example... Ah! Well, as you can see, I was going to test that, but we got an actual sub from Myron. Thank you very, very much, Myron. As ever, your support is very much appreciated. Thank you, sir. I always have doubts, Ethel. I'm always looking back at what I do. I actually kind of hope to do more of that, Kid Viper. I already have a template set up for that, in fact. But anyways, so that's the sub notification. Now, what that is, that's basically a manually crafted thing. I actually took the actual video file of that intro, spliced it out into a GIF, set it up to be exactly the right length, which is about 8 seconds, and I can swap in and out the audio at will, because the way I have that set up. And of course, it just says, you know, they've joined, right? That's what I do for that. If someone donates... we have the custom little animation that was actually made by Kay. I know Kay doesn't watch my videos anymore because he hates me. But, you know, again, Kay is awesome. I actually have a different one for very large donations. Which I think I could show you really quick. That would be this one. See? So that's the other one. And then, of course, we've got the various bit ones. Now, the bit ones are a little harder to show off because I have those set up per variable. So we got the tiny little one.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
Cashel, really? Really? Yes, my name is secretly John.
Of course you follow me. They all do.
Okay, I wasn't asking for actual donations. I'm just... thank you.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
That was not the point of this! Thank you, Gavel. Thank you, Myron. Thank you, Cashel. Stop donating! Myron and Gavel, what would you like to put in your...
well,
What's a Jessica's
Pay
face?
close attention. Hopefully you'll learn something.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Ah! It's just supposed to be a test. Stop it. Thank you very much, Rex. Trying to get better about the pronunciation. Thank you so much. Okay, can you believe we're almost a year? Holy crap. So anyways, the point I was trying to reach was that I am actually reasonably satisfied with our notification setups. Now, Sonoshi pointed out maybe we could have something flashier. What I'm asking for is feedback on that. What do you think, guys? Like, what do you think about the flashiness of the setup? Like, we've got those super mega huge... And then we've got one that should show up in a second here. Yep, there we go. There's the small one. Then we've got the... Then we've got the usual one there. And most of these are intended to be short. That's kind of the point. Like, even this one, which is a fairly large one, is a fairly short thing. And finally, we have... Oh, I guess I already showed it to you. Now, that really, really, really big one, I don't think has ever actually shown up legit. I don't ever expect it to, because it's huge. Now, so I gotta explain something to you guys. You might wonder, why is this so huge? Why does that cover the entire screen? I can actually explain that very simply. No, Rex. You're going to frickin' LA soon. Triple digit, that's all I'm saying. The reason it was so huge was when I was originally setting all this stuff up, when I finally got the ability to have subscriptions, I figured two things were true. Thing number one, I wouldn't get a lot of subscriptions, maybe like 10 people. Thing number two, I figured it would only show that once, ever, as opposed to once every, there we go, once every month, which is what ended up happening to be true. So, is this better, guys? I'm trying to sit still here.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
The point being, that was why it was a screen coverer. Now, as experience over the last few months has shown, it doesn't need to be... Thank you, Dante. It doesn't need to be super huge, because it happens all the time. So what I could do, hypothetically, is change this here. Give me 1 second. And change this to this. So that instead a subscription thing will simply cover me like this. Because I can do that. I mean, the donation thing is already designed to be in the webcam space here. And of course, that would change based on which screen I'm at. What do you think, guys? Actually, why don't I set up a straw poll for this? Let's actually get some numbers. Excuse me. So, cover screen, just cover webcam. Cover screen, cover webcam. I'm not even going to do proper capitalization. Screw it. Boom. Here. Boom. Boot. And on YouTube, I'll leave this up for a bit. Anybody watching on YouTube? That's true, I could, Vitor. That would be kind of a pain to do, but I can do it. We do not actually have a Voot emote, no. Wait, yeah we do. It's right there. It's Loreweek. Oh, that's the FFZ emote. That's not a official emote. But this is all spoilers for BFA if you care. So Voot, let me know what you think. I swear I didn't do that on purpose, Volcanto. No, SJ, I don't even own the game. It hasn't been funded yet. I gotta figure out who just donated to me. Okay, so apparently I'm being inquisited by the Spanish donation. And no, I didn't ask for... Thank you. Thank you, Sonic Doctor. Again. Thank you, Zawan. Sigh. Hang on, and there were some bits in there too. We had Dante gave me bits. Sean gave bits. Jaded Hellfire gave bits. Gavel gave more bits. Sean gave bits. Is that everything? Yeah, okay, that's everything. That's all the donations. That's all the vote.
Zug zug.
The reason I say voot instead of vote is because I was saying vote, like you need to vote, but I was saying it with emphasis. So I said vote, and then it just kind of devolved over time, especially as I was talking to my niece, into voot. You need to voot. And so when we started spelling it out, V-O-O-T, voot, and it just kind of stuck. Now, everyone who just donated, what would you like to put your donations towards? You must vote. Other than Cashel. Cashel already put it towards something. So that's Cashel. Cashel, Gladio. Pillars of Eternity. Oh yeah, someone asked how the fear thing started. That's a much simpler story. I was in the middle of saying something, and then I said like da-da-da-da-da-da fear, and then like the sub notification popped up, and it just sort of stuck. What are our options? Lorerunner.com. Everything on the left. And so Zawan is putting Zawan Joker to Cyberpunk. I think you're one of the only people who's donated to that so far, Zawan. And then Myron. So I need Myron, I need Sonic Doctor, I need Sean, I need Gavel, and I need... I guess that's it, actually. You didn't donate anything, Eric. Fine, Sonic, fine. Making me have stuff. I can prove everything, Myron. I have the technology. Sierra owns the one. What do you mean, hazardous? Oh, right. You want a different background. I can make that happen. Background. You got it. There we go. This is probably a lot better. This is for you, Eric. So what's our vote at? No, I don't need the Walmart thing. No, I don't need that. Where's the vote? There it is. Results. That's actually pretty split. I'll leave that up for another day or so. For the people on YouTube to have a chance to respond to that. Gavel. Gavel? Gavel's gone. That's true, Lurker. I've never heard of this game, personally. I don't know what it is. I think I should play through it as a premiere run. It's just some random game. Sean and Gavel, I need to know where you want to put your money towards. If you don't tell me, I'll just put it into the bank. And you know what happens then. I hear this game's really good. Like, best game ever. Okay, Sean, sorry, I missed your message. Sean is putting his... So that's 1, 2, 3... towards Spidey. And then Gavel has... Okay. Gavelin. I never know what to say there. That's why I keep saying Gavel, just to be safe. If it goes into the bank, I distribute it where I want to put it. That's what that means. And we all know how terrible that is. So this is bank. No, Dream Whisperer. What's T edition? Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and chop off the recording.